Hi, Matt with eTrailer. If you have a 2022 Toyota 4Runner and you're looking for a way to carry those additional items that maybe you don't want sitting in your vehicle because maybe they're outside a whole lot and you don't want to bring in that extra grime, and you're just looking for something that's going to be easy to store in your garage, then the Benton ShellRaiser Roof Box is going to be a great option for you. So let's check it out. Now, something you'll probably notice right off the bat is this box looks pretty small on this vehicle, and it does. But it's going to have a great use for some specific uses. So if you're someone taking one of those longer vacations with your family and the back of your vehicle is already filled up with a lot of items, you just need a couple additional things to store somewhere, this can be a great roof box for that, especially since it's at a very affordable price range and it's really easy to store in your garage too. But where I see this coming in the hand more is if you're taking those camping trips and like I said, you have any items that sit outside, build up a lot of grime, anything like tents, chairs, sleeping bags, anything like that, I think this is the perfect location to store them. And what's even better is if you are taking those types of trips, you can actually scoot this box all the way to one side and you're going to leave room for space for other items, anything that's extra long like skis or kayaks. But let's actually take a look at this. And you'll probably notice this is a pretty large transition to go from the ground up to our vehicle. And if you don't feel comfortable standing on your tire, I'd recommend checking out the Moki doorstep. You can put that in the hinge of your door and that'll be able to be used as a step to get even higher. I like using it, it just makes this process easier. Now you'll notice I do need to use a key to unlock that, so that's nice that this is a lockable box. No one can come by, take your items in here. And what's better is you can actually open this up from either side too. And with this opened up, you notice we do have a decent amount of space here. And like I said, this is perfect for if you have just a few things of luggage or anything that sits a little bit higher up. And we're going to have these pretty unique clamps for this box. This is what's going to hold it down. So these clamps actually slide up and down on these trays to accommodate for different crossbar spreads. We're going to have this cable that reaches around and grabs onto this knob. This knob is what's going to tighten everything into place, and there's different positions for it to sit. Now sometimes I have noticed the bolt that's in here can come up a little bit, so if you have any canvas bags, just make sure this isn't popping out too much where it's going to catch on to anything. And here's a better look at that cable that reaches around and grabs onto your crossbar, and this will work with most crossbars. Now, if you have any larger HD ones, that might not be able to reach around, but that will just depend on the size of your crossbar. Now, it is pretty thin, and there's some pros and cons to that. Some people don't like that as much just because it looks like less security. I haven't had any issues working with it. I still think these feel pretty strong, and what I like about them is how low profile they are. They don't really take up much space under here, so even if you have some crossbars that sit close to your roof, there isn't any point where this is going to make contact. One thing I will like to say about those cables are they are a little bit tricky to work with the first one or two times, but after a few uses of taking this on and off your roof, you'll definitely get the hang of it. Now I will say what's going to make it easier is if you can get pretty high above your box. That's why I recommend the Moki doorstep, so you can get that height, and then pulling this all the way to one side is also going to help you too. But when you're done with this, you can just close it up. And what I like is this stays open since we do have those hinge locks. That is me quite a reach though, so just make sure you are able to get high on your roof. And then just make sure we lock this back into place. One of the nice things about having the 4Runner is this is going to have raised rails. So you'll notice this is pretty far back, and that's just the location of our rails. So we're not going to come anywhere near to the front of our vehicle. But the nice thing about having raised rails are this is very adaptable. You can either push this back, pull it forward, just to fit your needs. And where we have it right now, you can see it's pretty much centered on the back end of our cab, and this isn't taking up very much space at all. So you don't have to really worry about any clearance issues, especially on the back end. So when I open up my hatch, even if we push this all the way back to the furthest point, we're probably not going to make contact with our hatch once we open it up. But just to be safe, I'd recommend keeping that box in front of the antenna just so you have the extra security. As for how much this box can hold, it's going to be able to hold up to 8 cubic feet of space, or 110 pounds, which is pretty good, and I like that amount for a few reasons. The first reason is that leaves a little more space for any other accessories on top of our roof. So like I said, if you want to put a kayak up there with it, you're going to have plenty of space to do so. And what I also like about this is, since this is a smaller box, it doesn't weigh very much at all. I can actually put this on my roof by myself. A lot of the larger boxes, I have to grab a friend to help me out. In my opinion, like I was saying earlier, this is going to be perfect if you are taking those camping trips and you just need to store those items that are going to be out in the elements, and you don't want that inside your vehicle. And you want it to play nice with other accessories on top of your roof. Now, there's a lot of other options we have on our website, like baskets. Those are also pretty narrow a lot of times. The only downside is they're not enclosed, so if you want to keep the elements off of them continually, then this is going to be a far better choice. And of course, we have larger boxes on our website, but again, that's going to be a lot harder to really maneuver and store in your garage. So really just going to come down to what your needs are. But again, that was just a look at some of the features of the Benton ShellRaiser Roof Box on top of our 2022 Toyota 4Runner. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.